It can be hard to become our best selves because of habits and behaviors that make us less attractive. Why do we sometimes act in ways that turn people off? It's possible that we unintentionally pick up habits and behaviors that make us less attractive in order to connect with others. Today we're going to look at 5 habits and behaviors that can make you much less attractive. Not only is the goal of this study to find flaws, but also to fully understand them and learn how to fix them by applying Stoic philosophy. A famous Stoic thinker named Marcus Aurelius said that all you need to do to make your life happy is to change the way you think. How often do we look to other people for approval, happiness, or success when we know that these things come from within? Are we guilty of letting these bad habits take over our lives? Tell them what we are, or are we ready to grow with them? While Stoicism has a long history of focusing on self-control, understanding, and virtue, it can help us figure out why these behaviors are seen as bad and how we can change them to match the traits that people really like. By following Stoic principles, we can learn to form habits that will not only improve our relationships, but also make our lives happier, more peaceful, and more successful. Let this journey be one of discovery, where the time is now. Join us as we look into the deep but useful ways that Stoicism can help us get past the things that make us less beautiful and reach our full potential. If you're ready to begin the journey today, leave a comment. Number 1. Brag. Talking is often seen as a sign of needing other people's support instead of having high self-esteem. When someone praises themselves too much, it not only makes them less attractive, but it also hurts their relationships with other people. Stoic ideas, which value modesty and self-control, can teach us a lot about why it's bad to talk. Think about Epicurus, was a Greek Stoic philosopher who taught people to find approval within themselves instead of seeking it from others. He once said, "If you want to be loved, love yourself." This simple but profound advice shows that Stoics believe people should take responsibility for their actions and attitudes instead of bragging about how great they are. Why do people brag? Is it a sign of pride or a way to hide how they really feel? Think about times when someone bragged. Did it make you want to be with them more or less? As Epictetus said, "What matters is not what happens to you, but how you deal with it." This means that real confidence doesn't need to talk about its wins or make loud statements to fit in. This really helps you understand why bragging isn't attractive. Self-esteem that is based on how other people act, which is hard to predict and usually only shows what's on the surface. Stoicism tells us to take charge of our self-worth by developing virtues like discipline, courage, and humility that don't change based on what other people think. So how can we use this Stoic wisdom to become more attractive in a very deep and meaningful way? First, be proud of your own achievements without putting other people down. Then, share your wins in a way that includes and values other people's work. Can you think of a time when someone shared their success with humility? How did that make you feel about that person? A Roman emperor named Marcus Aurelius and a Stoic philosopher said some things that will always be true. The best way to get back at someone who hurt you is to be different from them. If someone's bravado turns you off, choose to be different. Choose to be humble instead of proud. Share instead of bragging. Other people will respect and admire you more, and you'll feel better about your own self-worth. Remember that bragging drowns out the voice of true virtue. Instead, try Stoic humility and think about your daily actions every night. Ask yourself, were my actions today reflective of the virtues I aspire to embody? How can I improve? By giving up bragging and embracing Stoic humility, you pave the way for a life full of real relationships and self-res. To brag is to show off or talk too much about one's achievements, possessions, or experiences. It means to be proud of yourself or happy with yourself in a way that might come across as cocky or self-centered. People often brag to get other people's attention, respect, or acceptance, or to show who's boss. This can be done to improve one's standing or make up for feelings of uncertainty. A little bragging now and then might not hurt anyone and could even be helpful in some social situations, but too much of it can turn people off and make them angry. It can also hurt relationships because it can make other people feel ignored or less important. Instead of talking, People can work on having real self-confidence, being modest and humble, and understanding others when they share your successes in a modest way. Being grateful for other people's work and interested in what they have to say can help you get along with them. Being self-aware means knowing when to stop talking too much and how it makes you look bad. Learning more about yourself and how bragging affects other people can help people connect with each other more deeply and improve their relationships. It's normal to brag about things from time to time. It can help us connect with others and feel good about ourselves, whether it's about work achievements, personal skills, or exciting experiences. But it's important to find a balance between bragging and respecting other people's feelings and thoughts. Let's learn more about bragging in this lesson. We'll talk about what it is, why people do it, how it affects others, what other options there are, and how important it is to be self-aware when talking to others. Number 2, able to react. How you react. Not thinking things through before acting on them is a bad habit that can make someone less attractive and less useful in life. The Stoic philosophy, which stresses self-control and logic, can help you understand why this is a bad habit and how to become more calm. Think about the epic, if you were born a slave and went through a lot of hard times like Titus, you became famous for staying calm and smart. Epicus once said, "What matters is not what happens to you, but how you react to it." His life and words have become famous to emphasize the somber idea that we don't have control over outside events, but over how we react to them. Why is being emotional seen as unattractive? Have you ever seen someone lose their cool in a tough situation? What did you think of them after they lost it? Most of the time, uncontrolled reactions lead to bad decisions because few people are valued for their ability to stay calm under pressure. Marcus Aurelius was the Roman emperor and a Stoic philosopher. He was under a lot of stress on the battlefield and in his administrative tasks, but he is remembered for his philosophical ideas. Thoughts on how to keep calm. Know this, and you'll be strong. Marcus Aurelius showed that staying calm and thoughtful no matter what is going on around you can earn you respect and make you a real leader. How can you use these Stoic ideas to make your own life less reactive? Pay attention to how you act right away in different scenarios to begin. What makes you do things without thinking? Can you see the patterns? The Epic of Teptus also tells us good things. Being Stoic teaches us to think and pause before we speak, which is good for our relationships and our self-respect. Don't just say what your belief is, live it. You'll be more attractive and powerful on your own if you live by the theory of calm and reasoned responses. This doesn't mean hiding your feelings. It means controlling them in a way that fits your values and the needs of the situation. Now think about how your life might be different if you turned your response to something into a thought. What you can become less reactive and more reflective by responding to things with understanding instead of anger. For example, instead of acting on a desire right away, you could take a moment to think about how it would affect you in the long run. This change will not only make you more attractive to other people, but it will also make you happier and help you reach your personal goals. If you want to be the kind of person who can deal with problems with a calm and steady heart, try to adopt the Stoic practice of reflecting over reacting. This will not only change how other people see you, but it will also help you live a fuller, happier life. Remember that the goal is not to feel less, but to let your feelings guide your actions less impulsively. By doing this, you embody the wisdom that has made Stoic philosophy a beacon of strength for F. What ways have worked for you to deal with reactions in your own life? Share your thoughts and stories in the section below. We'd love to hear how you use Stoic ideas to handle everyday problems in a world full of uncertainty and quick changes. It is important to be able to act well for good luck. Whether you're at work or at home, being able to react quickly and correctly can make all the difference. One trait that helps you adapt is the willingness to change with the times and be ready to make changes to your plans or strategies. You also need to develop an attitude that works well in uncertain situations and sees problems as chances to learn and grow. 2. Carefully consider the situation before you act. Being able to think critically in this way helps people make good decisions even when they are stressed out. You should think about what's going on, but don't get too caught up in the details. Being stuck, especially where things move quickly, when time is of the essence, learn how to quickly make decisions based on what you know and what you think is right. 4. Good talk to you. It's important to communicate in a clear and concise way when dealing with problems or events. Whether you're leading a group or working with other people, make sure that information gets across quickly and clearly. This makes it easier for everyone to work together, clears up confusion, and solves problems quickly. 5. After you've dealt with a problem, think about what went well and what could have been done better to learn from it. Accept feedback, whether it's good or bad, because it helps you figure out how to act in the future. To get better at responding well, you need to keep learning and getting better. If you can master these 5 points, you'll be better prepared to deal with life's unexpected turns and twists, letting you move with confidence and speed. Number 3. Lack of ambition. Not having any plans. Wanting to reach your goals and sometimes going above and beyond them is what the word ambition means. But what does it really mean from a Stoic point of view? This old theory asks us to look at the nature of our drive and peel back the layers of our desires to find their core. Is our ambition just a shadow that wants to be seen by others? Or does it shine as a light that leads us to personal growth and moral living? Being tough is a way of thinking that values goodness, and if the owner can't take even one principle and make it his own, what good are all the books and libraries? This question makes us think about whether our goals lead to real knowledge or just useless things that sit around collecting dust. When was the last time you really felt satisfied by an accomplishment? Did the praise from others make you feel good, or did you feel better inside knowing that you had grown in some meaningful way? Stoic philosophy tells us to focus on the second part and set goals that aren't based on what the crowd thinks, but on the steady growth of the soul epicus. It was said very well by another great figure in the Stoic school. First tell yourself what kind of person you want to be, and then do what you need to do. This simple rule gets to the heart of what it means to be Stoic. Stoic ambition is about becoming the good person you want to be and acting in line with that picture. Stoic ambition is not about conquering, but about improving yourself and being strong. In today's world, ambition often means a never-ending search for more money, fame, and power. But Stoicism tells us to ask ourselves if these pursuits are making our lives better or just harder. Are we chasing shadows instead of developing substance? Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and emperor, said that the only wealth you will keep forever is the wealth you have given away. He believed that desire should be seen as a way to help others as well as reach your own goals. As people who care about the common good, this new definition not only gives us a higher purpose, but it also makes us more attractive. Ask yourself, how can you use your ambitions to not only move forward, but also help others along the way? How can your goals contribute to a larger tapestry of communal? This change in perspective can lead to a happier, more peaceful, and ultimately successful life, where our goals reflect our deepest values and hopes. Let's choose to Stoic desire really does hold this promise. Not a trophy room full of things you've done, but a soul that is strong because it has a purpose and is full of helping others. Having clear goals gives your life direction, meaning, and drive, but some people may feel lost if they don't have any. This lack of direction can make people feel like they are stuck and have nowhere to go. A clear endpoint guides our actions and decisions and keeps us on track. Without clear goals, it's easy to get lost in all that life has to offer. Setting clear goals helps us organize our work and keep our attention on what's important. A sense of accomplishment. When you reach your goals, you'll feel like you've done something important. They give us something to work toward and make us feel good about our progress. You might not get anything done that makes you feel good if you don't have goals. The drive and motivation. When you set goals, you feel like you need to act right away. Goals give us drive and desire to solve problems and keep going even when things get tough. If you don't have any goals to work toward, it's easy to lose focus and give up. This is called stagnation. Growth and development of the self. Setting goals pushes us out of our comfort zones, which helps us learn and grow. As we work toward our goals, they force us to gain new knowledge, skills, and experiences. You might stay where you are and miss out on chances to grow and get better if you don't have goals, which means, and where to go. Goals give us a sense of direction and purpose in life, which leads to a full and meaningful life. They help us see the future we want and plan how to get there. Without goals, we might feel lost or confused about how to move forward, which can make us unhappy and let down. For growth, it's important to set goals. Good luck and happiness they bring us. Goals give us focus, drive, and direction, and they change our lives in big ways. Without them, we might just float along without a plan, missing all the great things that life has to offer. Because of this, it is very important to set clear goals and follow them with all your heart. Number 4, needing something. How often do we need other people's help to feel special or valued? This is called neediness, and it can hurt not only our relationships, but also our personal appeal. Stoic philosophy tells people to be emotionally and physically strong, and to look within for praise. This gives us a sense of independence that is both freeing and attractive. A famous Stoic philosopher, Epictetus, was born into slavery but rose to become one of its most famous followers. His teachings stress how important it is to rely on oneself for emotional and psychological stability. He said that freedom is the only worthwhile goal in life because it lets us ignore things we can't change. This way of looking at things makes us think about our own neediness. Do we need other people's approval to feel good about ourselves? Why is being needy seen as a bad thing? If one person in a relationship relies too much on the other, the relationship is likely to be out of balance, and people who are unhappy usually want to connect with people who seem strong and independent, instead of emotionally dependent. It's important to remember that you need to change who you are, not where you are, if you want to get away from the things that bother you. This sentence tells us to change on the inside, instead of trying to get approval from other people. Instead of trying to get approval from other people, why not build up our own inner resources? How can Stoic ideas help you get over being needy? Before you do anything else, you should figure out where your self-esteem comes from. Is it based on how other people see you, or on your own successes and qualities that you choose for yourself? Seneca's life, which was full of political upheaval, shows us that real stability comes from within, by showing us how to keep our morals and inner peace even when things are uncertain in the outside world. Alienate also talks about freedom, saying, "You are in charge of your own thoughts, not the things that happen around you. Realize this, and you will find strength." This powerful insight tells us that we can keep our beauty and respectability, no matter what, by keeping our emotions and reactions in check. Think about how becoming more silent might change the way you interact with other people. Instead of trying to get other people's approval, what would happen to your relationships if you were less needy and better able to take care of yourself? If you want to live a better, more peaceful, and more successful life, adopting the Stoic virtue of self-sufficiency can be life-changing. You don't have to cut yourself off from other people to change this way of thinking. Instead, you can improve your emotional core so that when you connect with others, it's because you want to grow together, not because you need emotional support. We need to do something about this. Build your inner fortress and let it be where you get support, instead of looking for it from other people. This will not only make you look better, but it will also help people get along better and more evenly. Adopt the Stoic practice of self-sufficiency and see how it changes your life. As you become less needy and more confident, you'll find that your relationships improve and your overall happiness with life rises. What can you do today to start the journey of becoming more independent and emotionally strong? Share your plans and ideas in the comments. We look forward to hearing about your progress. The idea that we need something is like a thread that runs through our whole lives. Whether a need is real or not, the idea of it affects our decisions, actions, and goals. Knowing what a need is can help us understand how people act and how society works as a whole, from the most basic needs we have to live to the complex wants that drive us. New ideas and progress in figuring out what people need. The first thing you need to do to be happy is to understand and name your wants. It's possible for emotional needs, like love and connection, to be very different from physical needs, like food, drink, and a place to live. For each person, life brings different wants that are shaped by their past, present, and cultural norms and rules. Needs that aren't met can show up in many ways, often making people unhappy, anxious, or angry. When people's basic needs aren't met, they may turn to unhealthy habits or ways of coping, which can hurt their health and relationships. Support systems and taking action before problems happen become even more important when you know what happens when needs aren't met. Abraham Maslow, a famous psychologist, came up with a model of human wants called Maslow's order of wants. It shows needs in an order, with basic bodily needs at the bottom and higher-level needs like self-actualization at the top. It helps us figure out what people want and need, and which solutions are most likely to meet those needs and wants. To make smart decisions and use resources well, you need to be able to tell the difference between needs and wants. Wants are often based on wants, or needs that aren't necessary for survival. Needs, on the other hand, are important for staying alive and healthy. It can be hard to tell the difference between wants and needs. This is especially true in countries that are focused on making sales, where advertising and social forces can change how people see what they need to be happy and fulfilled. Meeting your wants can make you feel fulfilled and satisfied, which is good for your mental and emotional health. But meeting your wants is more than just getting things. It also includes things like autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Making a space where people can meet their own needs and feel supported improves their health, resilience, self-esteem, and overall well-being. Knowing what people need is important for meeting their wants. Individual goals, social structures, and the search for happiness are all complicatedly linked, as shown by changes that show understanding, kindness, and proactive support. We can make places where everyone's needs are met and seen as important, which will help them grow and be happy. Number 5. Using self-deprecating humor. Please explain what self-deprecating comedy is. For this kind of humor, you make fun of yourself or talk about your flaws, weaknesses, or embarrassing moments to get people to laugh and connect with you. Talk about how making fun of yourself can help people feel connected to you by showing that you are open and humble. It can help people break down barriers and connect with you in the right setting. Talk about how important it is to be funny about yourself when it fits, like when you're with friends or doing something fun. Explain why it's important to stay away from touchy or upsetting topics. Act of balancing stress. It's important to find a balance between making fun of yourself and loving yourself. It's funny to make fun of yourself sometimes, but too much of it can hurt your confidence and make other people dislike you. Look into how self-deprecating humor can make people like you more, stop fights, and calm people down when used properly. Tell people to be careful and think about how other people might react. Self-deprecating humor, like making fun of oneself, has been used for hundreds of years in social settings and for fun, from stand-up comedians to everyday talks. This type of humor has its own unique charm that can draw people in and help them connect. We will talk more about how to use self-deprecating humor correctly in this lesson. We will also look at how it can help you make friends, handle social situations, and find a balance between being humble and being confident. This look into the art of self-deprecation will help you whether you want to add some humor to your conversations or learn more about how it changes the way people interact with each other. When used rarely, self-deprecating humor can help people think about what Marcus Aurelius, an emperor and Stoic philosopher known for his deep reflections on life and government, taught. He thought that being honest and aware of yourself were important. She writes a lot about how important it is to be honest with yourself and show the world who you really are. Your happiness rests on how self-aware you are. Have you ever made fun of yourself to lighten the mood or make yourself seem friendlier? For a short time, this can make social situations easier. When we focus on being tough and honest, putting ourselves down too much can turn into a habit that makes us feel worse about ourselves instead of making other people like us more. Stoic thought says that humor can show us what's going on inside. He said that what bothers us is not what happens to us, but our thoughts about what happens. Another famous Stoic taught that we shouldn't base our identity on what other people think of us, but should instead build a strong foundation of self-respect and trust in ourselves. When we use self-deprecating humor to get a good laugh, we don't mean well when we say bad things about ourselves. How can we use Stoic principles to use humor well without hurting our self-worth? First, we need to know what our humor is really for. Is it a shield to hide our real insecurities, or a sword to break down social barriers? You need to be very self-aware and brave to be yourself if you want to have a style that lifts others instead of bringing them down. Think about how changing how you laugh could affect your relationships and how you feel about yourself. What if you focused on funny things that make people laugh at your quirks instead of your flaws? How might this change how other people see you and how you see yourself? For more peace and happiness, the Stoic goal of living in line with your true nature is in line with how you use humor. We need to do something about this. Think about how you use humor in your daily life. Try to develop a sense of humor that shows a positive view of yourself and helps people connect with each other in a real way. Remember that the goal isn't to hide your humor. Health. Why and how to help yourself. If you want to think like a Stoic, change the way you laugh so that you don't use it to put yourself down and instead use it to enjoy life's many difficulties. Find out how this affects your relationships and overall health. What are some things you can do today to improve your sense of humor? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. We'd love to hear how you're using Stoic principles to find fun and joy in everyday life. Next, we'll look at the 5 mistakes women make that make them less attractive, talk about not having any plans reacting to neediness, and too much humor about making fun of oneself. We now know not only what these habits are, but also how they change our lives and relationships in big ways. Stoic thought tells us how to stay upbeat and avoid these issues, which leads to respect, kindness, and real relationships. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best way to get back at someone who hurt you is to be unlike them." In the context of our talk, this means that getting over bad habits that don't help or make us look good forces us to show virtues that make our lives and relationships better. Each behavior mistake we've talked about is a chance to develop traits like self-worth, purposefulness, humility, and self-sufficiency. Let's remember these lessons and use the Stoic way of thinking to change not only how other people see us, but also how we see ourselves. Let's try to live a peaceful, happy, and kind life. Remember that if we want to change how we treat others, we must first change how we treat ourselves. Follow these Stoic rules every day and watch how your life changes. Join the conversation and let us know how these ideas have helped you. Let's make a community that values growth and virtue. If you like this deep and useful chat, please click the like button and let us know what you think. Also, don't forget to tell everyone you know about these deep ideas. Sign up for our channel if you want to learn more deep Stoicism lessons that will help you grow. See you in the next lesson.